Hello and welcome to Market Radio, the voice of the markets and opportunity. I'm Pat Beach. Now, this program is produced by The Newswire. It's co-distributed by BayStreet.ca. On this edition, Anfield Resources, Inc. is in the spotlight. The company is a rarity in that A, as a junior, it hasn't resorted to growing dope these days, and B, it's evolved from strictly being a junior explorer to an actual uranium producer, or at least it hopes to do so. It's done so via an acquisition agreement with Uranium One, which is UUU on the TSX. Further details are available in Anfield's last press release, and you can readily find it on their website, www.anfieldresources.com. Joining us now to discuss all of the above is Anfield CEO Corey Diaz. Corey, give us the rundown.
Well, we are acquiring all of the U.S. conventional assets on the uranium side from Uranium One. These assets primarily consist of a mill called the Shooter Canyon Mill, located in Utah, and 8.9 million pounds of measured, indicated, and inferred uranium resource. You know, we are a company which has a strategy of seeking assets with near-term cash flow potential. We actually have a large U.S. contingent in our office, which are very close to the mining assets in Arizona and Utah. And one of our directors came across the opportunity in the uranium space a number of months ago, and we've been considering the acquisition for a few months. Just prior to acquiring the Uranium One assets, we've been acquiring other uranium properties in anticipation of picking up a larger asset.
Corey, in business, as with all things in life, you have to give something to get something. In the case of Uranium One, whom you've acquired the assets and the mill from, what's the reasoning rationale from them walking away? Why are they giving this up?
Well, Uranium One has been taken over by a Russian company, and it's no longer public. And its main focus on the uranium side is actually in Kazakhstan. So the U.S. no longer holds the same interest as it did in the past when Uranium One was a North American uranium producer.
Corey, the mill itself is located in Utah. Now, for those maybe new or unfamiliar with uranium exploration and production, if you can, give a bit of a uranium 101, in particular as how it pertains to Utah.
Utah is one of the largest uranium-producing states in the U.S. for a number of years. Back in the 1980s, when the uranium price fell through the floor, production essentially stopped. I mean, now in the U.S., production is about 4 million pounds a year. The U.S. consumes about 50 to 55 million, so the imbalance is quite stark. So a number of imports have to take place in order to meet demand.
Corey, what's the global appetite for uranium use right now? And insofar as uranium deals on the market side of things, where's the appetite and how is the appetite there?
Well, the uranium price has fallen off fairly significantly over the past few months, more based on sentiment and headline news. Obviously, the not-so-positive news coming out of Japan is a big driver of the downside in the price. But I think the sentiment's starting to turn a little bit, or at least, the downside is slowing or has stopped. Uranium itself is a commodity which generates significant energy in a number of countries. I mean, the U.S. generates 20% of its power from nuclear. The number of proposed, planned, or being constructed nuclear plants at the moment is poised to more than double today's number. You've got countries that are oil producers like Kuwait and Saudi Arabia who are looking to produce or build nuclear plants. I think there are a number of positive stories out there which are just prevalent or, don't get the same headlines as the news out of Japan. But I think that, given the number of plants being built, there will certainly be a shortage in uranium, which is why we think it's a great time to step in.
Corey, Shooter now is one of only 2 licensed uranium mills in the United States. Where is the other one? And as far as the Shooter mill itself, what's the capacity right now? What can it be?
Well, so the first part of the question, the other conventional uranium mill is called White Mesa, which is also located in Utah and is owned by a publicly traded company called Energy Fuels. In terms of licensed capacity at Shooter, it's licensed for about 750 tons per day, which is a small mill in general, but certainly it can generate a significant amount of uranium, which could help to mitigate some of the supply-demand imbalance in the U.S.
Corey, one of the things I think that makes this such an interesting story is that as a junior and explorer initially, you've stuck to your guns, stayed true to the path, and rather than when things got tough, leapfrogging into becoming a marijuana growing outfit, you've stayed the course, and you're now evolving into what all juniors always ultimately aspire to do, and that is going from being an explorer into an actual producer. Great story.
Well, our goal has always been to find ways to generate revenue, and obviously that's through production. We've got a small-scale copper production asset in Chile, and we were looking to replicate that model prior to acquiring this asset in the uranium space. That's why we had 600 claims near the Energy Fuels White Mesa mill. We'd hoped to ship ore to that property in order to generate cash flow. But with this acquisition, we can now control our revenue generation, and we control the timing of our revenue, and we control our margins. So from that perspective, moving from being a developer to a near-term producer is something that we've always focused on, and generating revenue for our clients, I think, or our investors, is key to our strategy.
Well, and add to the fact that aside from the mill acquisition, you also ingest the land holdings in Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. So right across the board, it's great for your asset portfolio also.
Yes, it could significantly increase the size of our holdings. Currently we have about 17,500 acres, the 600 claims. The properties could more than double our holdings with this acquisition. So a lot of times it's not necessarily just about acreage. I mean, I think the key for our current holdings prior to the acquisition was the fact that these 600 claims were held in about 114 claim groups, and each of those claim groups had at least one past-producing mine or one underground workings associated with it. So we think that there is significant opportunity to explore and build out resources on our current properties to complement the 8.9 million pounds that we're acquiring through Uranium One.
Corey, to the market side of the business, how is the company set now insofar as with this acquisition, cash at hand, shares issued outstanding, that sort of thing?
Well, at the moment we have about 20 million shares outstanding. Cash-wise, we're roughly about $500,000. We structured the deal in such a way that we don't have too much pressure on our capital structure. We're paying Uranium One about $1 million in Anfield shares, which won't put our structure offside. There were cash payments also associated with the acquisition, but the primary payments of roughly $10 million will be going directly to the reclamation bond associated with the Shooting Mill, which is something we have to have in place. So, and then ultimately the payments that we make on the back end to Uranium One, we expect those to come out of cash flow, and that'll probably be about $4 million. So overall, we've tried to back end most of the cash flow payments. We tried to minimize any pressure on our cap structure, so we're very satisfied with the outcome.
Corey, now the deal's done, what are the priorities for you and management? Is it to get the mill to capacity now, or start to re-explore, engage the new assets you have? What is at the top of the to-do list?
Well, the key priority is to get the mill back online. With our acquisition, the 8.9 million pounds of uranium, that should carry us for a few years production at the mill. But we need to get the mill up and running in order to start generating that revenue. So our focus will be solely on that. Obviously we'll do some exploration alongside that, but the main focus will be on the mill.
Corey, we have to wrap, but a terrific story. It's been great having you on, and congratulations on staying the course and getting this deal done. Now, for those who want more information, where do folks go? Who do they get a hold of?
Well, I think the first step is to take a look at the website. It's AnfieldResources.com. We have a lot of information on there. There's an investor kit available. You can also reach out to info@AnfieldResources.com to request any further information. And, we also have an IR person on board, Clyde Mostert, who can be reached through that email address.
Corey Diaz, CEO, Anfield Resources, Inc. It's been a pleasure, Corey. Thanks so much. Good luck.
Well, thanks, Pat. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.